Okay, Jerry, I appreciate your beautiful message of letting me know that you'll check it out tomorrow. I have today and tomorrow, I am coming on later in the day for those of you catching the replays. I'm Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace. I'm going to wait 5 minutes for people to join on before I go into today's topic, which is how to become an observer of the self. That was inspired from yesterday's topic in the chat. So I believe it was Sophia. So thank you so much for that, Sophia. If you're going to join on, great. Hopefully the YouTube notifications are working. So I will be on later tonight. Obviously, I'm later than normal. And tomorrow I will be on later than I normally do. And then Thursday, I plan to come on at different times throughout the day for multiple lives. There'll be shorter sessions of lives, but they should be throughout the time zone so I can catch all the people that I've been missing and people who might be on YouTube that don't want to be alone on Thanksgiving in the United States. I will be here. Hi, Zeal. Good to see you. I am good. I am hydrating today. Yes, today I started late. Today and tomorrow is a later session, and then Thursday I plan on coming on multiple times throughout the day. Just going to wait 5 minutes before I get into today's topic, which is becoming an observer of the self. This is obviously, next level awareness. Awareness is good, but observation is a part of awareness, so it expands it from my perspective. Mindfulness is good, but we need practices that ground us into knowingness. And as I was sitting here thinking about today's topic, I was thinking it's second nature to me to feel and to pay attention and to notice what I notice. So I was noticing that I've been doing this for so long that I had to go back in my mind and think, what would be the best way for people who are aware but want to become more self-observant? Because, when we observe ourselves, we can get into neutrality much easier, which is part of the practice of alignment, is being neutral. So how are you all doing today? Whoever's here. We have 2 people here. Let's hope everybody else joins us. Just relaxing. It's been cold here. I've been cold. Colder than normal. Good. Zeal says I had a wonderful day. That's amazing. I love hearing that. Where are you located? 2:44 a.m. Wow, Zeal, it's late. Hello. We're just waiting for people to join on here. I usually wait about 5 minutes for people to get the notifications, and then I shall start. Middle East, okay. UAE, okay. Hi, Matthew. Good to see you here. Louisiana, I love it. Good to see you here. Today we're talking about becoming an observer of the self. This was inspired from Sophia yesterday. Hopefully she's or he's able to join. India, all right, India. We always have a lot of people from India. Third and Matari. What does that mean? Oh. Is it morning there? No, it's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. So on Thanksgiving, I'm planning on, which is Thanksgiving here is on Thursday. And, you know, I'm not much for eating turkey. I haven't eaten turkey in years. And all the food and the gatherings, and most of my family has passed away. So I am going to be joining YouTube Live. I haven't decided what the series is going to be out on yet, but I plan to do a series on Thursday. Sailor's Life, you're here. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Shouldn't you be asleep too? Everybody's awake today. How are you feeling? Anyways, I want to do a series on Thursday. I always go camping for 3 days on Thanksgiving. What a great way to be in nature. I love it. Well, you're going to have some tips today, Matthew, on how you could be in nature with more self-observation. How about that? Where are you going? Camping. If you're in Louisiana, are you a hunter then? Zeal says, I'm the only one that's awake. Everybody else is asleep. Okay, it's 6 minutes. So it looks like coming on later, Kentucky. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. It looks like coming on in the afternoon. First of all, I've noticed if I say certain words on YouTube, the algorithm does not push out my channel as much, which is, oh, good, Sailor's Life is feeling good. Good. So happy to hear that. Which is interesting, you know, because this is all about the law of one. My name is Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace. Everything I do is in alignment with the natural laws, the laws that govern all of energy, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment that happens when we connect deeply within. And I do that through a process I call energy psychology. And that is a simple way of saying that I reroute and delete programs. Ways of being and patterns that don't serve our alignment. And I have been doing that for a number of years, and I teach that to my clients who want to learn more about their energy field, how to claim it, how to command it, how to grow stronger internally. And I love what I do. And so I am pleased to be able to be here on YouTube and to provide this content for the Being in Sync 366 video series. This is where I come on every day and I talk about a different topic. So, hey, Mick, good to see you. So anybody that watches in the replays, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And we are going to talk about this topic of creating practices to observe the self. So this is not to be confused with mindfulness or any other practices. These are just things that I have learned that I find helpful in you going within. Now, I'm not talking about meditation or conscious breathing or any of those kinds of things. What I'm talking about here is actual observation. And so what are you observing? Most people are observing what other people are doing, but other people are always just reflecting you. You are a resonator and a signal, and your perception of reality is your reality. And as your perceptions change, so will your the way that you're signaling and resonating. And so your body awareness is super important to understanding what is happening in your reality. Your body never lies. However, most of us have been conditioned to ignore our body or to only pay attention to our body enough to say, hey, knock it off. I wish this pain would go away. I don't want to be in pain anymore. Even though pain is just a signal Okay, that's all it is. It's a signal for the brain. So most people who feel physical pain might feel it in their foot, might feel it in their hips, but it's coming from your brain signaling, okay? So when you take pain medicine is to block the signals, okay? So we want to be smarter than that, and we want to listen to our body because it will never lie. Our interpretation of our body signals might be flawed, but the body signals will never be wrong, okay? So I'm just going to give you some highlights, and then we'll get into the comments here, see what you all have to say about being an observer of yourself. I have a lot of different techniques that I've learned and used over the years, but I want to give like the simplest ones for you all up front, and then if you have more questions about certain circumstances, I'm happy to provide as needed. So first of all, the body never lies. We're going to start with that. So body awareness, noticing how your body is signaling what you are feeling. So the key is that your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies are all connected to this physical body here. Your body is your body. So you have your own energies that are always signaling to your physical body. If something is off in the spiritual realm, you're gonna feel it in the physical when it comes to manifestation. Everything non-physical becomes physical. So you want to catch it where you can. So as you become more proficient, you'll want to identify as this physical, mental, emotional, spiritual when you're getting interference. But the first thing you want to do is just identify. Notice in your body what you are feeling. Feel it all the way through. Then you want to learn how to be neutral and watchful. You don't want to be reactive or responsive. So when I've noticed people who are learning, they're usually in their mind and they're usually judging what they're experiencing. Like, I don't like this. Oh, this hurts. Oh, this is scary. Oh, I'm in fear. And they go through this whole thing of the mind. That's what you're going to notice when you're becoming an observer of the self, is how much fear is present. As you become more present in the moment, the fears will start to go away, okay? So you want to notice physical, mental, emotional. Identify, oh, I'm feeling this in my foot. Oh, I'm feeling this in my chest. Each thing that you're feeling, you want to feel it all the way through. You want to notice it. You want to acknowledge it. You want to watch it. The other thing that you want to do is, because we are mostly contained of water and our energy resonates through the frequency of water, you want to make sure you're hydrated. Hydration is going to change how you perceive. So when I was really spending a lot of time in organizations in corporate, I would notice it's easy to get bored, right? It's easy to get bored in meetings that are meaningless, the meetings that you have people that don't know how to run a meeting. It is easy to do. You don't want to use boredom as a reason to not be present and observe. You always want to be observing of yourself. Why am I bored? What am I not wanting to see? What am I not wanting to acknowledge? What is happening here that I am missing? You want to check in and use open-ended questions for you to learn and to get back engaged. You don't ever want to disconnect from your body, okay? The next thing is that when you are hydrated, so let's just say boredom and escapism is something that you tend to do. That's what a lot of people do when they're watching TV. When that is your tendency, hydrate. Get a sip of water so you don't check out. make sure you're hydrated. So today I have my electrolytes, and I have my water, and I have my beets. I have my beet juice in there because I'm going to be working out later. So I'm preparing, right? I also always have my water. I charge my water. I charge my water with prayer. If you are interested in that prayer, you could shoot me an email. I'm happy to share it with you. But you can do and charge your water with intention. But you want to be hydrated, okay? The next thing you want to do is create practices that specifically cause you to be still within. You want to create a stillness within your body. This stillness helps you become a better observer without being triggered. How do you get to neutrality? Is you train. You train through your awareness. So my ways are quite unconventional. I don't know anybody else who teaches this, so excuse me if this doesn't resonate with you. Take what works and leave the rest behind. But when I was really wanting to get rid of my triggers, meaning stay neutral, I would consciously trigger myself by watching a TV program that I knew would trigger my mind, my emotions, and my intellect. And like, why? Hey man, good to see you. I would do that on purpose. And the moment I got triggered, I'd pause the TV and I'd bring myself back to neutrality. Once I was neutral, I would go back on. Now, if I noticed my mind was active when I was watching this particular show that I tried to use, if my mind started to go into a story, I would pause and bring myself back to neutrality. The whole practice was to notice what was happening in my body as I put on this show that I absolutely knew was going to trigger me. It was a retelling of a live event, and people were actually acting in absolute fear and trauma, and I watched it, I witnessed it, I could feel the energy from the show. It was complete turmoil, which could trigger cellular memories within you of times when you've been in those things. So I purposefully put that on, triggered myself, and paused every single time. By the time I was done with this series, and I can't even remember the name of the show, but it doesn't matter because you're going to have a different show. Like The Real Housewives might be something that triggers people here. I know it triggers a lot of people here. So use whatever show it is for you, but know that when you turn on the TV, you're not watching the show to just watch the show. You're watching the show to be an observer of yourself watching the show. So you can notice your body reactions. You want to notice the tension. You want to notice the stress. You want to notice your breathing. You want to notice if you're in constriction or if you're in expansion. You want to have conscious awareness throughout the whole thing. Do not get stuck in the storyline because then you're missing the purpose. The purpose is to become aware and to get yourself back into neutrality. So that is how you build the strength of your inner muscle of neutrality. And then when you're done, you will be stronger because you will know how to be neutral in emergencies. So for example, I told this story a while back, but I know a lot of you are new here. I was walking my dog during the summer, and we have a bunch of kids that ride their bikes around and they don't pay attention. And they were just having a great time, and there must have been like a pack of them, about 10 or 15 kids on their bikes, riding, doing wheelies or whatever. And I turned the corner and one of them got hit by a car. 10 to 15 of those, 16 of those kids, however many kids there was a lot. Not one of them was helping the kid on the ground. So the kid's on the ground, knocked out. The woman is in the car, not knowing what to do. She's freaking out. Nobody is stable. Because I have the practice of being calm in crisis, I was able to step in and kind of orchestrate until because they didn't even call an ambulance or anybody to get help for this kid. Once that was initiated and the service people got there, I left. But somebody had to be calm. When you practice inner strength, you will be strong in crisis. And that's what you want to build for, because crises happen all the time, everywhere. And you do not want to go into the space of fear, because fear is your biggest weakness. Fear is your biggest weakness, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. That is how energies come in and manipulate you. And that's where anxiety starts. So you want to train yourself to be neutral. The first thing I do when my clients start with me, that's the first thing, is teach them where their nervous system is. Tell them where to get and turn it on and off, because we are the commander of our field. And if you're not commanding it, then other people or energies will step in and usurp your energies. You don't want to do that. You want to be in full command of your body. The moment something enters your field, you should feel it, sense it, and excuse it and command it away. Okay? That is part of the reason why people have so many thoughts that aren't theirs, is because they haven't disciplined their mind. They don't know what thoughts are theirs and what thoughts are something else's. That's how entity energies work. They work at a lower frequency. So one of the ways in which you want to pay attention is to, hey, Eric, good to see you. You want to pay attention to your body. Your body will signal when something is awry in your field. Fight or flight without an emergency is a lack of understanding how to command your field. If you're not in the wild and being hunted, you're not in fight or flight. You shouldn't be. So you want to be able to turn off your nervous system. Okay, so I just gave one of the big practices that I recommend to bring yourself into neutrality. The other thing is this. No matter what it is that's in your field, no matter what, you want to find a way to go into your heart and to be in gratitude for it. So, for example, I had a client many years ago who got fired. It was a tragic public firing. He was demoted, and it was not only humiliating for his ego, but it was an unjust move. It doesn't matter. Your approach matters. Why things happen, there are unjust things that happen in this world all the time. Be grateful for your awareness. Somebody asked me the other day, I think it was Zir. I think Zir asked me the other day, how do you deal with being gaslit? Gratitude. Thank you for showing me who you are. No judgment, just choices. Gratitude. And so be grateful for those things that showed up. Even manipulators, thank con men, however you have been manipulated, be grateful, because you cannot be infiltrated as easily when you're in the frequency of gratitude and appreciation. So you will notice, this is another practice, notice when you're not in the state of gratitude. And why is that? Why are you not able to go into gratitude like that? What is stopping you? Do you need reasons to be grateful? That's your thinking mind. Your heart is just happy to be alive, happy to be living this life in connection with your soul. That's what being on your purpose is. It's gratitude for everything. You know that everything is part of your co-creation. So if you want to be in alignment with your soul purpose, the easiest way is to find gratitude in even the things that you think is a curse or a hex or a spell. Find a way to be in gratitude. That is a practice. I'm not just saying because it's Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is not just a day, it's every day. Every morning, every day, be grateful for the opportunity to live more fully. Be thankful for the pain that you are going to fully rectify with your conscious awareness. And I will tell you this, and I've seen people on here talk about, the doctors say there's no cure. You are the only one who could believe what you believe. You have choices in your potentials. There is nobody that gets to determine whether you will heal or not. You are the one that determines that. So you chart your own territory and you say, you know what? I'm going to be grateful for that person's perspective. I'm going to choose not to go into alignment with that. I disagree with that. I am going to keep looking until I find the potential that feels best for me. So, let me see, other practices. I have so many. I just want to keep it simple. So let me see what you guys have. Let me see what you have for questions. Thank you, Sailor's Life, for jumping on here to help once again. What a save for you to do that. And hopefully Peter's watching and feeling better. Okay. Kentucky. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there's any questions. Hey, Mick, good to see you again. I have been to the Middle East. I have worked in Bahrain. I've been there a couple times. I worked with one of the naval commands over there for a couple years. And I was able to go to Dubai and experience that. That was fun, interesting, definitely a different way. Zeal is saying, Zeal, you're going to teach us again. Zeal is saying, I observe how not to be stupid. That is a good observation, but we don't want to be in judgment. We do want to be aware, and there is absurd things happening. No doubt, there is absurdity, for sure. Aya, hi Aya, good to see you here. That is absolutely, the body will never lie, ever, ever, ever. We may not like the signal, but that's a judgment, right? We get to have preference, but we don't want to be attached to our preferences, correct? So when my body's hurting or sore, I'm looking at what is it telling me? What am I missing? What do I need to pay attention to? I'm going into it. Yes, I wear my glasses when I'm trying to read this white font on the screen. Focus is the key for observation. I think having open-ended questions is very helpful. Yes. Skylar, what if your fear was your survival? How can you do that then and let your fear go without feeling anxious? Well, you want to feel the anxiety in your body, and you want to obviously turn off your nervous system if it's being triggered. Now, anxiety can also be excitement, but people often are conditioned into the lower frequency and not the higher frequency. Only you can really determine, Skylar, the anxiety. Okay, so you don't, if you're in survival mode, meaning fight or flight, which I've been in, and I've been hypervigilant, which is not a good state, because when you're in a hypervigilance, your nervous system is kicked on. When your nervous system is kicked on, it's going to mess up all of your hormones. Your hormones directly imprint and impact your ability to perceive your reality. It also will directly distort what you're perceiving. So you really, it is fundamental to get out of fight or flight. So the key to knowing if you're fight or flight is knowing, right? If you're in fight or flight and you know it and you're looking around and there's nothing there and you're not in life or death, you're not on the surgery table, you're not in the hospital, you're not in a car accident, okay, all my body parts appear to be here, then you can relax. You need to be able to command your body to go into states of relaxation. That's what you did. That's obviously what will happen when you're a master. Hey, Greg, good to see you here. Today's topic, yes, hopefully it's helpful for you. Skylar's saying, I had a near-death experience 4 years ago. Strangely enough, I see those images again and again when I watch nature films. Okay, Skylar, this is very helpful. So we have what's called cellular memory. And we have cellular memory that we get, and it comes through our DNA. So you might also be having images and visions of not only your experience, but experiences that have happened in the past. What I would say about things that come up in looping time frames is that it's a repeating timeline that still needs healing, Skylar. So what about your near-death experience has yet to be healed is the question I would ask. And that's what I would go into during a meditation or during a conscious breath work or when you're walking in nature. And I would really look to breathe through those timelines consciously. So they're not popping up when you least expect it. But the other thing I would say about looping timelines and things that come up is that this. What did I want to say about that? I lost my train of thought. When you are looping timelines, oh yes, when they stop looping, that's when you know they've been healed, okay? Now, there are some other things that would keep your mind looping into painful, traumatic experiences, but I don't know that that's what's happening with you. Zoya, hello. Previous days I join your live and tell you that I was abused by my parents a lot. Today the same thing happens and I was like a chill pill. I'm enjoying life completely. Zoya, well, go back and listen to what I already said at the beginning. I think it would be very helpful for you and it will take you to your next level because you have already grown exponentially and we want to continue that. So continue to know that your parents, you can't change them, but you can change what you go into alignment with, and that's what you're changing, okay? Oh, Greg, I'm so glad that this is helpful for you. Oh, this color suits me. Oh, thank you. It's been cold here. Do you believe in the law of attraction? I believe in the natural laws and the law of attraction, also known as the law of correspondence, is one of the many principles of the natural laws. So yes, I believe that all energy is commanded through the natural laws. Ultimately, yes. Fear is useful in survival instances. Fear is a signal of a vulnerability and a weakness, Seal. Fear is a vulnerability and weakness. So we don't have to keep our fears. Our fears can actually be transmuted and go away, and you could be fearless. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to see some ugly, gross things. And I think a lot of people think that seeing energies is fun and exciting and neat, and it is. And it's also quite disturbing and uncomfortable. Like you will see things that you didn't think were like that. So one of the things that I asked to do was to see the signatures of people in their field. Well, once I asked to see that, I saw. And it's not pretty. It's not pretty. That doesn't mean I'm judging them. It just gave me more data to understand what I was picking up on before I saw the way I was seeing. If you know what I mean? Because there's layers and levels of seeing. So, yeah. So you want to not judge what it is that you're seeing and see it. Don't go into agreement with it if it doesn't resonate with you, and see it for what it is and align. Keep aligning to what it is that's needed for you. So just because I see something that I don't prefer, I don't want to be around, doesn't mean that my husband has the same experience. So it's an interesting dynamic when I'm seeing people a particular way, and he'll even say, well, I don't know why you had that experience. And I'm like, because I saw them. But he doesn't see it the same way, so I'm not going to, He doesn't need to. That's not his lesson. I'm the one that asked to see. When I asked him, do you want to see what I saw? And I could kind of tell you what it's like. And he's like, no, I don't want to see it. And that's our choice. So we really do command our field. And we command our senses. And the more that we command our energy field, the stronger we become. So, don't be afraid of asking to align to certain things, but just also know that you don't want to be in fear when you're asking to see, because you're going to see some things that are uncomfortable. You don't want to be afraid of something that's uncomfortable. You don't want to be afraid of the shadow, because the shadow might be a piece of you that needs to integrate. Okay. That was a good one. What's the difference between a stupid person is he blames everyone for his problems, and an intelligent person is the opposite? Well, I would say intelligent people can do silly things. It's the difference is judgment. There's love and kindness, and then there's judgment. Zeal, choose love and kindness. You don't even need to take the energy to say somebody is stupid. What is the point? That doesn't serve you any bit. And if it doesn't make you more in alignment to your heart, more expansive, then don't do it. Just stop judging. And then you could observe more and just see people for who they are without the judgment. I know it's a tough one. I know it is. I heard someone say in their 40s that they feel like they're in fight or flight has never went off since they're teen. Yes, it's very common. Very common. People don't understand their nervous systems. How do you turn off your nervous system? I can't do it here on YouTube. I've tried, and it's in my earlier videos, but everybody's nervous system their sensing of their nervous system is in a different place. So it's hard for me to facilitate it for people watching without knowing if they're on it or not, and then you'll be misdirected. So if you're interested, I teach it in the first session because it's fundamental. You turn off your system by being intentional. Ultimately, your intentions are fundamental and critical to your spiritual and physical well-being. You must understand that you command your body, and that if your nervous system, for what you're saying here, it's something like that. It could be stuck in a timeline where it's like frozen in time or something like that. It could be more complicated. I can't say for certain, but it's very common for people that have had a traumatic situations, and then they get medications and it locks things in a way that doesn't necessarily serve your spiritual evolution, because those are synthetic medicines, okay? I hope that makes sense. I know I'm trying to speak in general terms. Again, take what works for you and leave the rest behind. I don't personally have sleep paralysis. No. I'm familiar with it. It feels like, yeah, that's usually has to do with the astral realms and entity attachments of some kind. It's very common, Zoya. So again, commanding your field, take the intention setting class, connect deeply with God, set an intention before you go to sleep. That's a clear intention to have your, to be guided throughout your sleep, to have restful sleep, to have non-interrupted sleep. I mean, you determine it, but if you're afraid to go to sleep, then you already are running the frequency of fear, which is going to make you more vulnerable in the sleep time. So there are some natural remedies. Definitely make sure you're look at taking potentially a vitamin for magnesium, an element. Make sure there are things called rescue remedy, which is always very helpful for, that's a Bach and flower essence and homeopathic remedy. That's something very very good that can help calm your nervous system. Ashwamaka is another herb that you could take. But sleep paralysis, you want to make sure you're connecting directly with your heart before you go to sleep. You want to make sure you're making a very clear intention to be connected with your heart and with God consciousness or unity consciousness throughout your sleep. See if that helps. And if you're having images of death, I would go watch the video about death and dying that I did in this 366 video series, because some of your ideas about death or beliefs about death need to be reoriented, because there's really, you don't die. Right? The soul lives on. We have a soul and we have a matrix and we live on beyond this physical realm. So it's about understanding your multidimensional aspects, Zoya. Facily, Leon. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, probably not. Sorry if I tortured your name. Can you say more about don't be in agreement with something? Agreements and contracts and vows, they can be quite complex. They work at multidimensional levels, but when you are not familiar with the law of intent, consent, and authority, oftentimes people are giving up their consent to things without their conscious awareness. So you don't want to do that. So you want to be very conscious about, no, I'm not consenting to that. It's okay to say I don't consent. When you don't agree with something, I don't agree. Like I used the example earlier today with a client. When I go to the airport, I don't consent to them doing anything. I don't go through the scanners. I don't do that. You could do a body pat down. I do not consent to going through the scanner. I do not consent to anything that I don't have to. I do understand that sometimes when we're flying, we give up. That's one reason why I don't enjoy flying like I used to. I didn't understand how things were working back then, but I'm very conscious to not go in agreement with things that do not resonate with me. And, you know, I don't like being stuck on a tarmac for 3, 4, 5 hours, you know. That's not something I want to experience. I know that happens. I know I've had clients who are flight attendants. They tell me what's happening on the planes. So just be very present and do not go into agreement with things that you do not consent to, period. And you can look up the consent and find something that resonates. When you're reading things on the internet, see if it resonates with you, what you're reading. If it doesn't, find something else. There are so many different resources out there. There is a lot of trash out there. Find what makes sense. You can piece it together. There are general things that you can piece together. But the natural laws include the natural laws of consent, intent, and authority. So that's what I have to say about that. That's also why when people say, hey, can you check in my field for this? No. If you're not paying me, we don't have an agreement, we don't have any authority, I don't know what's in your field. And everything works in a wave. And so when that wave comes in and I go to check on something, I can go into agreement with something that's not consciously in alignment with me. I don't want to do that. I want to be very clear, and you should be very clear. I don't let everybody in my field. There are remote viewers that could just go and check and look and see and do whatever the hell they want. Hell no, no way. Not in my field. Blocked. And you would be surprised at who goes in your field to look at things. I know I was shocked when I first started seeing it. I was like, how did they get authority to do that? No, you revoke it. Okay. Zeal, sleep paralysis happens to me too, but only sometimes. If you're getting sleep paralysis, you have vulnerabilities in your field. That's the easiest way to say it. What is that vulnerability? It could be A lack of connection to God, for sure. A lack of connection to source energy, creator. A lack of commanding your field. It could just be that you don't know all the energies in your field, and you should be familiar with your field, because if you're not, who else is? Now you have things that are siphoning you. That's what sleep paralysis is. It's a siphoning. It's an attack. It's like a psychic attack. Okay, how can I gain trust in myself? What's the psychological framework that works for good self-relationship? Well, this topic today is all about the observation of the self. So a lot of people who are lacking trust within themselves have a lack of observation as well. So I would start by becoming a master observer of yourself with non-attachment. That means you're not attached to your ideas about who you think you are or who you think your identity is. Okay, you go into non-attachment and you just become a master observer of yourself. And I would go watch the last 30 minutes of this video, from 5 minutes until about 30 minutes. I really talk about some exercises that you could do in there. Greg's saying, I'm a person that's hard to jump or scare. Oh, Greg, you're intimidating, huh? Well, I will tell you, some of the things that I watched to kind of trigger myself had nothing to do with horror movies, and because I don't really like that stuff. I just think it's not productive. Even for triggering, it's not productive. But things for me that are that would be triggering is, and this is what this was my issue many years ago. I would just be shocked by people's behavior. And so the fact that I was in shock was a vulnerability. So don't allow shock to be your, like, I would just be like, I would go into inquiry, and somebody asked about agreement. So this is about when you ask a question of why would you do that, that's a hook. Why would they do that? That's a hook. That's an agreement. You don't want to go into agreement. But you don't want to ask questions. That's a bad quality question. Why? Why are they doing that? Why are they like that? Can you believe they did that? These people are doing that? I mean, for me here in California, we see a lot of crazy stuff. Like somebody in not my close network, but close enough to where I would hear about it. They recently had a home invasion, and they were held at gunpoint. And, that's a resonance. Are there crazy people out there? Yes, but you have to resonate with them. So I wasn't surprised that this happened, although I was like, I felt bad for them, because now their trauma is this event, right? That's a very traumatic event. And this person definitely didn't have the skills to manage crisis before this event, and now even more so now. So shore up all your vulnerabilities. You don't want to have a vulnerability in any of your bodies: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. 0 vulnerabilities. That's what I help my clients do. And once you have no vulnerabilities, now we can start to build that inner strength even stronger. And it goes very fast. So Greg, what I would say is watch a show like The Real Housewives. That'll probably trigger you. All that materialism and cattiness. You might think it's stupid, but you want to notice in your body how your body responds. That might be something good for you. Now, Greg, I don't know where you live, but I can't even say your last name, so I'm just going to say it somewhere not in the United States. But you understand the silliness that I'm talking about, I think. If you don't understand, let me know. I'm going to do a poll real quick. Hold on, I'm going to go on mute real quick. Okay, here's the poll. And I know I started the poll later. Um, and Fasil and Zoya, let me know if that was helpful for you. I just want to think about gaining trust within. Gaining trust within is really about knowing thyself, knowing yourself. So becoming a master observer of yourself would be what I would say should be your goal. You want to trust yourself over anything outside. The outside just reflects the inside. So you want to learn that. You got to know yourself. So I would make being a master observer of yourself a high priority. Oh, I'm aware of what sleep paralysis is. I just personally haven't experienced it. Trust me, I've had plenty of horrible experiences. I don't need to experience that one. Okay, I saw my wife and children on fire. I could not do anything because there was a car on top of me, which I don't understand how that's possible. Those images always come back to nature films. Huh. Well, fire is an element, so you have the fire element. You have the earth element. So, Skylar, thank you for giving me that information. I can understand and see why that would be quite frightening. I would bring in the water element. And the air element. So start to connect with the elementals. So fire, water, earth, air. Yes, I've been on a roller coaster. Mick is saying, I don't want anyone coming into my field. No shot. All right. Strength, that's it. Okay. Zeal, I don't know if you're asking me a question or stating it. I actually think sleep paralysis is from an unknown entity. Well, it might be not be known, but the fact that you even think that will tell you that you know you have an attachment. So clear that attachment. Okay, a lot of people ask me, do I believe in? I believe in God, creation, source energy. That's what I believe in. I believe in the natural laws. Do I believe in paranormal? I believe paranormal experiences exist. I believe in God. That's what I believe in. Okay, Mick is saying, Kiana, you know some people on this earth are set aside for a certain point in time. True. But we're here on this earth to live fully, to have a full experience. And if sleep paralysis is part of your experience, that means that there's something that you need to overcome. Overcome it. Tyler's saying, U.S. Marine, all right. Welcome here, Tyler. Okay, it looks like I've gotten through all the questions for today's topic of being an observer and having observer practices. One day I had a dream where I was in the room laying on the bed and the room was dark with red lights and a dark figure like a man approaching me. Yeah, I mean, my first experience of the spirit world was when I was a very young girl, and it was not a pleasant one and not one that I would recommend to anybody. But that was my first awareness that there were spirits. And I remember calling my mother after he got off of me because I fought him off.
But she didn't know what the hell had happened. And you could see I was definitely scared. But these energies will claim and tag your field as if you are owned by them. That's why they're talking about this being a prison planet. And I'm not saying we're a prison planet, but we do have energies that try to own and enslave humanity. And your soul is your soul, but you must call your soul fragments back. You want to be fully intact. Because when you have fear, when you have trauma, your soul can fracture, your mental aspects can fracture, your emotional aspects can fracture, and you are the one that brings them all those pieces back. Dorico, yes, you might want to go back to the beginning of the video. If you believe in God, then you should believe whatever he has, evil, good, and unseen. That doesn't mean that there aren't some energies that have been misdirected away from God. Okay, Zeal? And that's what I have to say about that. So 57% of you still think that you need more practices for becoming still. Okay, so let me see if I can help the 53%, because that's 53 of you, even one of you need to have ways to becoming still within. So as I mentioned, I trigger myself to go back. That's how I develop the practice. But you need to figure out how to access stillness within. So that's why breathing practices would be the primary aspect, okay? Visualization of a peaceful place, a place that brings you great admiration, great love, great joy, great calmness. For me, it would be a tropical island with the oceans. I love being in the water with animals and the whales and the dolphins and all that. So that brings me great peace. So you can visualize those types of things and do it within your mind's eye in connection to your heart. That's 2 practices. Let me see if I can come up with another one. What's a simple practice? Commanding your field back into stillness. Commanding your energies to be fully, totally connected to your heart. Yes, Greg, the double inhale technique is good for high stress situations. I think it's good when you're clearing energy in through the mouth, exhale out through the mouth. I know there is a million breathing techniques out there, Greg. Find the one that works best for you. But under high stress situations, the 2 inhales through the nose, exhale out through the mouth is really good. But you would need to do that for like a series of 5 minutes, and then you want to work up to 10 minutes, and then that's a lot of breathing. What happens in 10 minutes, or you want to do like 100 breaths, that'll basically hyperoxygenates your body, which allows circulation to happen faster. And that's what you want in your field, especially if you're in heightened states of stress. But if you're just trying to find stillness, stillness is a pattern. So you want to find and bring in that sense of stillness, and then you want to start to repattern your field to that stillness. Does that make sense? You want to make it your natural state. Perfect, Zeal. That's a great practice. Okay, we're just about at an hour here. I know it's a little bit later than I usually come on. Tomorrow I will be a little bit later too, but hopefully earlier than today. And then Thursday I'm going to come on first thing in the morning and throughout the day at different time frames. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Sailor's Life, thank you so much for coming on here. And I know it's late where you are too, and being a part of this. Hopefully you got some practices that'll help you bring you into stillness as well. If there's no more questions, I'll jump off until tomorrow with a new topic. Greg, that's beautiful. Greg is saying, since I watch your streams, I'm much more still than usual. Why do you think that is, Greg? What do you think you're feeling from watching a stream about consciousness? Have you thought about that? Okay, y'all. I was just waiting to see if Greg gonna chime back? Okay, y'all. I think your energy is calming. That's higher consciousness. That means that you resonate with higher consciousness. Football go. All right, y'all. You were funny. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace. I do this every day through this process called energy psychology, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual alignment, all in connection with the natural laws of one. Unity consciousness is here. We are unity consciousness. As we support one another, we grow and evolve and expand. I will be here tomorrow for another live series, another live video. I don't know what the topic will be, but another video on the Being in Sync 366 video series. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks again, Sailor's Life, for being here. You're the best. I appreciate you. May you all be blessed and grateful today and every day. Bye.